Christmas Vacation, Rosa Parks, and Philly D are all on this day. Welcome back to On This Day. Today's date is December 1st, 2022. It is the 335th day of the year. There's 30 days left in 2022. It is the 48th Thursday in the 48th week and the 71st day of fall. You got 20 days left until winter. Today is Rosa Parks Day. Rosa Parks Day honors an American civil rights hero twice a year on February 4th and December 1st. The holiday recognizes the civil rights leader Rosa Parks. On December 1st, 1955, after a long Thursday at work, Rosa Parks boarded a bus in Montgomery, Alabama. She took her seat in the colored section as she rode the Cleveland Avenue bus home. Now, at the time, a Montgomery City ordinance allowed bus drivers to assign seating. However, it did not permit them to demand passengers give up their seats. Despite this, the bus driver customarily required black passengers to give up their seat to white passengers when public transportation became full. And that's what the bus driver tried to do. He asked her to give up her seat for a white passenger, and she refused. Police officers arrested her, and what followed was civil rights history. On December 5th, 1955, the courts found Parks guilty of violating the city ordinance and fined her $10 in court fees. This was obviously a very interesting part of American history, and especially the civil rights movement. This spurred the Montgomery bus boycott, where African American folks didn't ride the bus. The boycott lasted several months and devastated the transportation system in Montgomery. Now, there's a few things about this. One, very interesting part of it, which I've mentioned before, I believe, that the owner of Little Caesars Pizza found out she was living in Detroit. After this went down in Montgomery, her and her husband left because they couldn't get work in pretty much Montgomery, Alabama, or most Alabama at the time. So they moved to Detroit not long after the incident here. Well, she lived in Detroit, her husband had passed away, and she was living in a run-down apartment and could barely make rent. And the owner, who was a millionaire at the time, of Little Caesars, found this out, moved her into a nice apartment in downtown Detroit, and paid for it till the day she died. The best part about that, he never said a word. He never made the press about it, just took care of this woman. Another interesting fact, she wasn't the first one to do this. There was a young lady who did the same thing, got arrested a couple weeks before her. The theory is they didn't really use her as the civil rights icon like Rosa Parks because she was an unwed mother. Now, about that one, I've read that it is true, and I've read that it was a little exaggerated, and that's not the case. I don't know, but if you're trying to make a political statement, you probably want to go with the person that has the least amount of baggage, I guess you could say. All right, let's see what else December 1st has given us. 1824, the United States presidential election. Since no candidate received a majority of the total electoral college votes in the election, the United States House of Representatives is given the task of deciding the winner in accordance with the 12th Amendment of the United States. Yeah, that's a thing. Currently, there's 538 electoral college votes, so this could happen again at some point. You'd think that they would make it an odd number, maybe give Washington, D.C. one electoral college vote. It just seems like that situation takes it out of the hands of the people and puts it in the hands of the politicians. This was also the first election that poor people could vote in. Back in the day, you had to be a landowner to cast a vote for the President of the United States, or any vote for that matter. So the common man could finally vote. And vote did they. They came out in droves. Now here's the rub. There was 4 candidates, and they were all very similar in where they stood on different positions and policies. So when the original election went down, no one got 50% of the votes. The electoral votes were split up between the 4 candidates, John Quincy Adams, Andrew Jackson, William Crawford, and Henry Clay. So the 12th Amendment kicks in, and this gets kicked over to the House of Representatives. Well, the House of Representatives take the top 3 candidates that got the most electoral college votes. This eliminates Henry Clay. And William Crawford had suffered from a stroke, so this kind of made him not a factor anymore. So it was between Andrew Jackson and John Quincy Adams. So they're getting ready to do all the voting, and Henry Clay is the Speaker of the House, and he carries a lot of weight with him being the Speaker of the House, and he's leaning towards John Quincy Adams. A bunch of backroom deals are made, and they vote for John Quincy Adams, and he is the president-elect. John Quincy Adams, as president, appoints Henry Clay as Secretary of State. Promises were made, folks. Andrew Jackson didn't like this. He goes on to refer to this as the corrupt bargain. 1862, in his State of the Union address, Abraham Lincoln affirms the necessity of ending slavery as ordered 10 weeks earlier in the Emancipation Proclamation. 1878, President Rutherford B. Hayes gets the first telephone installed in the White House. A lot of president stuff going on today. 1941, World War II, Fiorello LaGuardia, mayor of New York City and director of the Office of Civilian Defense, signs Administrative Order 9, creating the Civil Air Patrol. 1959, the Cold War, opening date for signatures of the Antarctic Treaty, which sets aside Antarctica as a scientific preserve and bans military activity on the continent. 1964, the Vietnam War. U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson and his top-ranking advisors meet to discuss plans to bomb North Vietnam. 1969, Vietnam War again. The first draft lottery in the United States is held since World War II. 1990, the Channel is connected. This is the Channel Tunnel that goes from France to the United Kingdom, and it links up underneath the Strait of Dover. This has always interested me. I've never ridden in the tunnel, but it's on my bucket list. I just want to go through this thing for some reason. Kind of mind-blowing that they have a tunnel that goes under the ocean. I mean, they've got all kinds of tunnels that go under the water, but this for some reason has just always blown me away. Movies released on December 1st, 1989, Christmas Vacation. You know, it is rare that a sequel to a movie actually is better than the first one, and most people agree that Christmas Vacation is better than the original Vacation. Before you say it, European Vacation was horrible. I don't think I've ever watched that movie all the way through. It was just that bad. Anyway, Christmas Vacation follows the Griswold family as they try and have their perfect Christmas, and it just goes south. Cousin Eddie shows up, and some other family members that are just weird. The SWAT team raids the house. It's a good movie. It starred Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. It also had Johnny Gillespie, who went on to be in the TV show Roseanne and The Big Bang Theory. It had Juliette Lewis and, of course, Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie. Born on December 1st, 1985, Philly D, Philip DeFranco, libertarian host of the Philip DeFranco Show on YouTube. He's one of the first YouTube creators that I started watching like every single day. He does like 10-minute news thing about what's going on in the internet and really around the world. It started off kind of like internet gossip channel. At least that's the vibe I got originally. And they're talking about different YouTubers, and he's since expanded on to just things going on in the world, and it's a pretty well put together show. When he created his first YouTube video, he was working as a waiter and living in his car. Now I'm sure he's worth, a handful of $1 million. If you ever get a chance, watch his YouTube channel, Philip DeFranco. It's really good. I'll leave a link down below in case you want to check him out. Died on December 1st. 2018, we lost Ken Berry. He was the star of the show F Troop. He was in a bunch of other things, like Carol Burnett's show, and reoccurring roles on the Andy Griffin Show. He was a very likable character actor. But he was in F Troop, and oh my god, I was watching clips of that. That show was straight up racist, and it would never make it on air these days. Oh my god, it was outrageous. Ken Berry died of heart complications in Burbank, California on December 1st, 2018. He was 85 years old. All right, that's today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you got some information out of it. Now go out, have a great day, and be nice to each other.